my name is Randy White and I'm your local Austin realtor. Last week we did a March market update and that was for nationwide data. This week I want to focus a little bit more in on just Austin. So before we get started, if you wouldn't mind hitting subscribe to my channel if you're not already a subscriber, and then if you like the content that I share in this video, could you please like it? It's a really big help for my channel and my videos that I share with you guys. Always feel free to leave a comment and I will hop on and answer it. So let's get started.
Well, I'm going down to Austin, Texas. I'm going down to save my soul.
Coronavirus ended, and we thought, okay, super. This means that things will basically go back to normal and we can have the life that we had in 2019. But that's not what's happening, especially in the housing market. We are actually experiencing a constriction in supply. Exciting. So what I'm saying is that homes are coming to the market at a much slower pace than they were last year and even 2 years before that. What's going on? I had a video come out in early winter that showed data that we were supposed to have a pretty strong late winter season and early spring. People were excited to sell. What happened to that? Well, two things. Omicron, that was a pretty big hiccup. I think we all tripped over ourselves with that one. It was a really big wave. And then additionally, the interest rates really shot up there a lot faster than we anticipated. We all knew the interest rates were going to go up for 2022, but they went up a lot faster than we were expecting. But Randy, shouldn't that just affect the crazy buyer demand that we could honestly use a little bit of a pressure release for anyway? You know, the rising interest rates and all. Well, it should, of course, but also there was an incredible amount of refinances done because those interest rates were so low the last year or two. So a bunch of current homeowners are suddenly looking at the situation thinking, I don't need to move. I'm good. I like the rate that I refinanced at, and I will just improve in place. I'll just update my kitchen or I'll put in a pool. I don't need to go back out on the market. That's nuts out there. So there are 11% less homes on the market this year than there was last year. Combine that with those aggressive buyers out there that now have the pressure of trying to get in somewhere before the interest rates rise any higher, and we have the perfect storm for values continuing to rise. Did you think last year was nuts? Are you wondering if this year is going to be even more nuts? Well, so far it is. So last year, Williamson County appreciated at 34%. So when you break that up over quarters, that comes out to about 8.5% per quarter. Well, we finished up Q1 and Williamson County appreciated at 11%, y'all. So if we continue on this trajectory, we're going to crush the numbers that we did last year. So to kind of put some perspective or some numbers on top of what I'm trying to describe, at the beginning of the pandemic, Williamson County averaged in the low 300s, and now we're up in the high 500s. So something that's interesting is that these prices across the entire Austin area are starting to become homogenized. Meaning that whether you're in the city of Austin or in Round Rock or Pflugerville or Cedar Park, the prices are starting to feel the same. Now, there's going to always be pockets like inside of downtown Austin and some really traditional inner city Austin neighborhoods that kind of have that central premium. But when you take in the entire city as a whole and all of the numbers that are happening, it's really starting to all look the same for what is happening with those outside suburb home prices. So this actually ties into what I was saying 2 weeks ago in my Austin economic forecast, where I was trying to bring to light that we are really having an affordability issue that is just growing and growing and growing inside of the city of Austin. So if you're a family of four and you make the median income of Austin of $80,000, the home that you should be able to afford with that salary is around $320,000. Okay, so you can take that on out to Bastrop, where that is the only place where you can remotely find anything priced around there, and even that train is leaving the station as each day goes by. Let's dive in a little bit more on these numbers of what it costs to buy here in Austin. So in 2019 and 2020, the average sales price was in the 300s and was making its way on up into the 400s. By the end of 2020, it had steadily made its way up to an average price of $500,000. Then 2021 came, and that space of January 2021 to March of 2021, which I often mention here in my videos as a time that I just never want to go back to, home values jumped from 500,000 to 600,000 in just 90 days. And anybody that was actively shopping out there, just that blew up right in their face, and we were really scrambling to try to find inventory that fit their budget because it was here just a minute ago and now it's gone. What do we do? So unfortunately, that seems to be reemerging and happening here again. So in 2022 of Q1, we have jumped from an average sales price of 600,000 to 700,000, but this time we've done it in 60 days. Some experts are predicting that the average sales price by the beginning of May in the Austin area, the entire Austin area, is going to be $740,000. What? So now circle back to that scenario of the average family of four in Austin making $80,000 and being able to afford a $320,000 house. Well, that's going to buy you half a house last year and is quickly approaching to just be a third of the cost for a home this year. Dang, you know? I mean, I don't know about you guys, but making $80,000 is pretty good, and it's disappointing that we can't find a spot for those families inside of the city anymore. I mean, when does it stop making sense of trying to be in here? And you have to start seriously considering relocating your life and your livelihood and your jobs outside of the city limits. Just you're venturing off. And I'm sure that this will eventually start affecting companies' decisions of where they're going to place their future moves, you know, coming into the Austin area. And it probably had at least a little bit to do with decisions like putting the Samsung factory out in Taylor. So how do we get out of this mess? What do we need to do? Supply. Supply is the critical path for pricing stability. So let's take a look at that. New listings for 2022 are down by 10% compared to the previous 3 years. And that includes 2020 whenever we had our lockdown. 2021 had the highest supply compared to the previous 3 years. And that is going to have everything to do with people were ready to make some changes. There was incredibly low interest rates, so many reasons to try something new, get a new lifestyle and a new way of living. And so it was a very, very popular idea to sell and move up and get control and get those really low interest rates. And we thought that trend would continue to push on into 2022, but then the Omicron thing happened, and then the interest rates really took off from us a lot faster than we thought. And so now the idea is not very popular to sell my house that has this record low interest rate, whether because I purchased just a year or two ago or because I refinanced and took advantage of that. So I think we're going to see a huge slowdown on move-up sellers and so or move-up buyers. And so that means that those are those people that have a 3-bedroom house, but they're ready for a 4-bedroom spot. Or they're in their beginning neighborhood and now they're ready to move on to the next neighborhood that has the school that they've been eyeing. I don't think those people are going to do that because they have this 2 to 3% interest rate locked in on this house, and to consider to do the move up that we depend on heavily for supply, they're going to have to get rid of that great interest rate, go out to the ridiculous market and overpay for a house and take a, you know, it's a bloodbath out there. I mean, who wants to do that? So we're going to take a pretty huge hit, in my opinion, on resale homes because we're going to be missing that move-up buyer that is a pretty critical piece in the cycle of life on the real estate market. So we need to have the inventory of resale homes to open up, and I'm just not really feeling very positive of that trend happening this year. And then we also just really need for building to continue on and to grow and to expand out, increase density inside of Austin. But those situations are also not very promising for this year, and I really dived deep into that topic on my video from 2 weeks ago, the Austin Economic Forecast. Check it out if you're interested. I gave information about permitting fees and zoning and lots of bureaucratic steps that are really getting in the way of us making some pretty important progress on building out Austin and accommodating the amount of people that have come into our city. I do support and love how much we cherish the beauty, the natural beauty of our city. But at the same time, we have a lot of work to do to make sure that we don't sink even deeper into what seems to be an affordability crisis. So check out that video from 2 weeks ago if you want to hear some more information about that, and kind of in summation of my spring forecast for you guys for Austin, or my spring market report for Austin, is that I see another long year of rising home values and just another tough market again for buyers. Now, you're gonna listen to this video and think, oh, thanks, Randy, that was really encouraging. I'll just jump off a cliff now or be a renter for life because it sounds like it's impossible out there. And it's not. It's not impossible. What it is, though, is it's kind of grueling, so you need to have some patience, and you need to have a strong team supporting you. You need to have a rock star lender who is local and understands what's going on in this Austin market and is able to provide financing for you that is attractive to sellers and that will back you up when it is time to show that you are ready as a borrower and willing and able to buy that property. And you need to have a realtor that knows how to negotiate and submit a good contract with terms that will catch the eye of sellers and that has relationships with realtors that will get you into contract. Lastly, you need to get off the MLS and start searching off-market properties, and that is what a good realtor will do for you in this market, in this extreme seller's market. So, if you are considering and wanting to buy in Austin, Texas, do give me a call so that we can talk about these different strategies and I can tell you what to expect whenever you enter the arena. If you're considering selling in Austin, then let's hop on that ride too. Give me a call, 512-412-5776. It is a pleasure doing these videos for you guys, and I will see you next week. Thank you.